Welcome to My First Stage, the podcast where experienced public speakers share how they started getting booked on stages and how they've used them to grow their business. I am here with Billy Sammons. He has built his business by referral, no cold calling or door knocking, but simple and effective strategies that any entrepreneur can use to build their referral community and grow their business. He started speaking in a classroom, and fittingly, he is here to teach all of us a little something about relationship building and building our businesses. So, Billy, thanks so much for being here.
Man, Miss Sarah, thank you for having me on the show. We have our Maryland connection where, like, you started close by where we are, and then you moved to a much warmer area, so you don't have to deal with all the crazy weather we're dealing with lately.
Yes, I'm not currently in a blizzard, so I'm sorry for that. But while you're
Yeah,
snowed in, you get to do some podcasts.
that's right. Perfect.
So you know
That
what?
is perfect.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
That's it. That's it. Get some work done. Let's go. Don't complain about it. Just get to work.
And before we hit record, you had said like there are two different ways that we could take this because you had your way you started speaking in a classroom and then on physical stages and everything. So let's dive in. And I love that you had originally what you had said was when you started like quote unquote speaking on stages, it was in a high school. It was as
Yeah.
a
Yep.
teacher.
Yep.
And I love that because we have this idea that stages and speaking has to be on a physical stage at an event at a conference, like on a TED Talk, whatever it is. But really, public speaking is just anytime have a platform and you're speaking to other people. And so you first got used to the feeling of being kind of the center of attention, the one
Yeah.
doing the speaking, the presenting, because you were a teacher. So talk a little bit more about that.
Oh, well, I mean, the good news, bad news is when you're sitting in front of teenagers, you're never going to be able to really entertain them, which kind of takes the pressure off. But at the same time, you're like, am I really going to be able to reach them? Like every once in a while, you'll have something good that you put out there. You're like, and you know it resonates and they enjoyed it. But the pressure's kind of off in a weird way because they're not really listening to you. They're kind of listening to you, but they're not really listening to you. So they really want to just sit there and just see what it is you're all about and how much you know. And they're always poking and prodding and like, how much does he know? And they start asking the questions like that they don't think you know the answers to, just to see, just to test you. And so I think that's what helps with the very first stage is like being on my toes and kind of what questions could they possibly ask? And I quickly learned, you have to be ready for anything. You have to know your content so well that when they try to poke you and test you, because this was even like pre-Google, this was way back in the day. I think you couldn't just look it up real quick. You had to know your content enough that you could answer any of the questions that they came across. Because if they knew that you didn't know what you were doing, you kind of lost them a little bit. I mean, there's every once in a while you could say, well, I don't really know. But if that's your answer to a lot of the questions, you're going to lose them. So you got to at least know enough to stay with them.
And I feel like it's kind of a good practice place because
Yep.
in all of our heads, like when we get onto a physical stage, we're in front of an audience, we're all thinking like, everyone is judging us, everyone
Yep.
is thinking the worst, they all think we're stupid, but when you get in front of a room of
Yep.
teenagers in a high school, you're right, that's exactly what they're thinking.
It's exactly it.
They're like,
Yep.
"This asshole is here again, I thought he would could be sick and we get a sub that we can just play games or something."
Yep.
So, you start off proving yourself right with all of
Mhm.
these fears, but you get used to speaking in front of people that
Yes.
do think you're an idiot and want you to get off. So I feel like that's convenient.
It is, and you have to keep them fairly entertained, right? Like, if you got up there and just started lecturing like Ben Stein style, like, you'd lose them too, right? So there's gotta be some interaction. There has to be some back and forth. You have to be able to, like, call on a few or have them do some kind of physical, like, raising hands or standing up or clapping. There's gotta be something, and that really resonates with any stage if you think about that too. Like, if you just sit there and just talk at people, like, you're never gonna make an impact. Your speech is not gonna stick with them. You're not gonna make any difference into them at all, and you're wasting your time. There has to be some kind of, like, interactive element to it. There has to be something where, like, you're, entertaining them and educating them. So you have to know what you're doing, but at the same time, you have to keep them moving, keep them engaged with the content, just like teenagers. So, like, it helped kinda set the stage for when I started getting on more traditional stages. Like, I was prepped, and I had a pretty good idea of what I needed to do and how to keep people moving, how to keep people engaged, and so, like, it really was, like, the very first testing ground for me, you know?
And then when did you make that transition onto physical stages?
Really? All right, so that's the second season. I believe, and I know you and I agree. We're a different season of our lives, right? We have different parts of our lives where that would be considered like my fall part of my life, right? And so I moved into like the real estate part. And so that was the second stage. And so I started getting in front of realtors and I started getting in front of our brokerages and I started teaching them strategies and I started teaching them lessons and lead generation and all these other different things that realtors needed to know. And I started doing that for my brokerage and I started doing that in front of bigger audiences. And so that was the next phase. And I would say realtors probably have the same attention span as teenagers. I think that's a very similar group of people where like they'll tune you out after a few minutes, even though they know that the information you're about to give them works because you're doing it and it's helpful and it's engaging. You still have to keep them moving. You have to keep their attention span. So it really got me ready for those types of stages as well, and it was just prepped, ready to go, so it wasn't that hard.
And I mean, the attention span thing is true for everybody at this
Yeah,
point.
it is.
And we hear it about like digital content. If you're doing a video, you have to hook them in the first 3 seconds.
Yep.
There's that book that came out like last year, the year before, called Hook Point, that talked all about that. It was a really great book. And it's the same when you get on stage. Like you have to hook them immediately. And everyone has
Yes.
their own way of doing that. Some people open with a joke, some people do a really bad job of it and just start talking about themselves, like, so, some people start with, like,
Yeah.
questions, and what is your way of hooking people from the beginning and getting them to pay attention?
Oh, for me, depends on the scenario, right? There's lots of different ways. Usually, I give them real life examples, so I kinda bring them into my story. I try to make that story relatable, so I need to know my audience, and I start with, like, the tension point, right? Here's the problem we were having, and then you start getting into some of the solutions and some of the things that happened, usually a little bit of humor to it, and then how that changed me and how I became with the solutions they're there to hear, and, so that's how I usually hook them is, invite them into my story and get them engaged, try to relate to them. And so they can say to themselves, "Oh yeah, I also have a problem getting leads, or I also have a problem closing deals. I also have a problem, this, that, and the other thing." And so they lean in a little more once you can hit them and relate to what they're doing. And then you show them the transformation. So they're like, if he can do it, I mean, shit, if Billy can do it, I can do it. And so it makes it relatable to them too. And I tell them that throughout the speech, like, listen, I'm not a unicorn. I'm not like anything special. And I figured this out. You can figure this out too. And here's the way. So I usually do it through storytelling because, back in my teaching day, I was actually an English teacher. So the whole story is kind of like ingrained in what I enjoy. And so that's typically the hook I use when I'm out there and talking to them.
I love that, and I mean, you and I have talked about storytelling, and
Yep.
that is
Yeah.
kind of where I live, and it makes me think of one of the presentations that I did at a conference. I was there talking about storytelling to build your brand and how you need to be telling your stories if you want people to feel a
Yep.
connection to you, and the way that I opened it, I just put my own logo, just full screen, and just asked so genuinely, like, "Looking at this, like, how does that
Mhm.
make you feel?" And I was just like people just looked confused, and I'm like, "If you're thinking absolutely nothing, then that is the correct answer because you have never seen this before, you don't know who I am, and
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
going to make you feel something, and that's why we need to move past just hiding behind that logo and become people and have those genuine connections, and that comes from storytelling."
Yeah.
And the look on their face was like, "Oh, good, I got it right," because they thought, like they were like, "I missed something, there was a pre-assignment or something," and that one started it off pretty good.
Nice.
I like
Yep.
that one.
Yep.
When you are getting on stage, because I know you like to do things that are interactive, you do
Yeah.
kind of like the workshops.
Yep.
How are you getting booked for those? Are you getting booked? Are you doing them yourselves? Are you setting these up, like scheduling them and inviting people? Like, what is your method? Like, what's been working?
Yeah, so for, like, those types of things, well, actually, you know what? It goes hand in hand, right? So I teach the marketing, the live local referral marketing. So I think the workshops and the videos I do with local business owners, those are the same strategy, really. You find people that you, align with that have the same values as you do. Like, you and I are gonna do one in the future, like, we meshed really well. I teach referrals, you teach podcasting as a way to create referrals for yourself. I teach that through video, and so I've done ones with video producers. I'm doing one soon with a CRM guy, like people that are in line with your values. Once you know that audience, once you know who they are, try to find a give, something that I can give the audience that they're going to need that meets their pain point. And I do the same thing with my local business videos. What is something they always need is marketing, promotion, content, things of that nature, right? And so you need more audience. I need more audience. We have an alignment. We've got one pain point that we share. So we're going to align. We're going to collaborate. We're going to work together. Once we have those things in alignment, then I just reach out to people and say, listen, this is the thing we're going to do. You phrase it and word the workshop or the video in a way that people will be entertained or they invited into the story, like we talked about a little bit earlier today. And then you just start sending it out like, hey, Bob, I think this will be good for you. Hey, Fred, I think this will be great for you. Hey, Rita, you asked about referrals. I'm going to show you how to do it. Just jump into this workshop. Um, in regards to the local businesses, the way I do that is I do like a video commercial with them, right? And so once you're in alignment with a local business owner and you want to collaborate and become a referral partner with them, you sit down, do the quick video with them. You have that content. You start sharing it out to your audience because people want to know what's happening in their own community. They all have that ingrained interest, like, oh, is that a new food truck, or what's going on with that brewery, or I saw a sign out front of the library, and you start just sending it out to people and reaching out, and just natural collaborations. People just want to see what you're doing. They want to see that it's a pain point that they need satisfied, and they want to just be part of the story because it's fun, it's interesting, it helps them solve some of the problems they might have, and I guess it's just those simple basic strategies. And I don't think it's anything specific. I don't have a magic bullet for you. I just have the basics of human psychology. That's all I use.
And your specialty is in referral marketing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How could somebody use, like, referrals and that side to get themselves on stages and to grow as a speaker?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna use to get on stages, you have to decide on what stage you wanna get on. Like, who are you trying to collaborate with? All of my strategies start with you, your values, and your business. You need to know, like, who you're trying to get to. Then once you know who you're gonna get to, let's say you wanna meet up with a speaking coach, or you wanna meet up with somebody who runs a speaking event, or then you just have to provide something. You have to have a give. You have to meet them at their pinpoint. What do they need? Most people need marketing and promotion. So if let's say we have, for example, somebody who runs a speakers event and they want to help promote it. You're like, listen, I've got a podcast. Come on the podcast. I would love to be a speaker on your event. I will help you promote it. We can do this together. We can collaborate. And it's just that easy. It's not that hard to just give with intentional. And the key would be to not give and then turn around and like, hey, I need you to buy my product. I need you to, give me a donation. I need you to be a sponsor. You're not doing that per se. You're giving, you're helping them promote, you're doing something for them, you're meeting them at their pain point, you're adding value to their life. And that's really where the beginning of referral marketing is with the give. So hopefully that answered your question. I think I went around about, but hopefully I nailed it.
I'll take it.
I'll take
Um
it. So if you were trying
No,
to get on
it's
somebody's stage, you need to find out what they need. What do they need? They need more
yes.
marketing, or do they need something? And then you reach out like, hey, listen, you need more marketing. I can help you with that. And that's kind of where
Yeah.
you begin. You don't land gigs right away. I don't think that happens unless you're going to pay for them, or if you're going to, join a club or join a group. But if you're trying to do it organically, you need to reach out to who aligns with you, and you need to give them something that they need, and then you just need to stay in touch and consistently reach out to them and continue adding value until like that connection is solidified.
One of the, like, principles in marketing is find that pain point
Yep.
and push on it and
Yep.
make it have that feeling of urgency. How have you been able to identify, like, what someone's pain point is?
So mine has been easy in the sense that I deal with a lot of local business owners, and every single one of them have the same pain point, which is marketing.
Mm.
They all need more marketing. They all need more promotion. They all need more butts and seats, more people coming through the doors. And so that's been a really easy cheat code. So when I talk to people about my referral systems, every time people are like, well, that's too simple. There's no way that works. And it does, because everybody that's in a local business owner, like I know 40 or 50 local business owners in my community. We're all referral partners. We work with each other. We help each other out. And it's just by the same pain point that they need marketing help. And I just go to them and help them do a little quick video, do some content, do some things to help them out, and then stay in touch with them. And if they need people, even you and I, we exchange referrals, like the same concept. If the boxing studio needs a food truck, like they come to me because I know the people that do this and I know the people that do that. If the lacrosse team need some sponsor, like, oh, I know the local lender's been looking for sponsors. Like you end up becoming kind of a middle person because you're giving and you're making connections and they see you as somebody they can trust because you're giving to them. You're meeting with their pain point, which is marketing and connections and more referrals. And as you become that middle person, like you just meet all the people you need to meet. It just almost not even magically, but magically happens. It just kind of through consistency.
So if you had one piece of advice for somebody that wants to, start speaking, what is that piece of advice?
Oh, to start speaking, you need to get in front of people, get some reps, right? So I got in front of like teenagers, which I wouldn't advise doing that because teenagers are a little tough. But start with video. Because video, you don't necessarily need an audience right away. You can just do a
Mhm.
video on your own and you're getting in front of people and you're getting practice and you're working on your speech and you're, making it more concise and you're making adjustments. But I would say start doing videos. That is by far the easiest way to start getting in the reps that you're going to need and start getting some feedback. And if you want to start doing longer ones, start reaching out to people and say, listen, I want to come talk to your group about this, this, and this. I'm not going to charge you. Just want to come in. I want to talk to you people. I need to get reps. I need to get more practice. But those two ways of just, finding ways to get in front of people and just practice, practice, practice.
I love that video advice because we always hear, like, "You gotta get in your reps," but
Yep.
then it's one of those, like, "Okay, but how do I do that?"
How do I
Because
do that?
you need the experience to get the experience, you can't
Yep.
get booked on the stages until you've been booked on stages, and
Yep.
it's so
Yep.
true, like, we can create our own stages, and if you start recording videos, you start doing webinars, you start doing
Yep.
podcasts, all of these things, you're just creating your own stages, and then you're
Yep.
able to use those a, as experience and getting more comfortable, but B, as examples and as social proof and as, like, sprinkling them into a speaker reel, and it's a way that you can do that without having to rely on that outside factor of someone needs to book me on a stage
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah. Well, the key to that too is the uncomfortable. I need to watch it after I filmed it too. Most people are like,
Okay.
I hate the way I look. I hate the way I sound. I hate the way. Well, if you're gonna be on stage, you need to get over it because people see you when you go up on stage, and they're gonna hear you when you're up on stage. So it's not gonna change. So record yourself, watch it over again, and say, all right, you know what? I screwed up there. I'm saying too much. Like there's things you can do when you rewatch it, and you just have to. Like, how many of the podcasts do you film? Do you go back and re-listen to?
These ones because I edit them because my team is busy
There you
and
go.
I hate doing it, but usually I try to avoid it. Like,
But at
I'll
first,
speak
though,
on stage and somebody sends me a video and I'm like, "Thank you so much," delete instantly.
but I mean, you've
I
been
don't
doing it
wanna
for a
see it.
while. Do you do? Has that always been the way? Like even from the get go, like from step one, step two, even early on, you didn't watch
Oh,
any of those
yeah,
either.
and not out of like a, "Psh, I nailed it, I don't need to see it." It's more of like, "I don't wanna see that, I know I looked stupid."
Just do it.
It's a lack of confidence, not an overconfidence thing.
Oh, got it. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. So mine's the same way. So I grew up in forever ago, like playing sports, and so we'd always film yourself shooting to watch. So I
Mhm.
guess the reps were already there. I'm used to myself filming myself doing the things to get better at it, and so I guess it was more of a natural. Oh, yeah, I'm speaking. I need to film this and rewatch it and re-listen to myself. And I never had the self conscious because I just didn't care enough. But um, you got to do it. You got to rebatch. You got to hear yourself because it's the best way to make adjustments.
I don't like this advice anymore.
Ah,
Not
yeah.
listening. Everyone else, listen to him. I'm gonna,
You're
personally
not gonna
ignore
do
him,
it.
but
That's
everyone
fine.
else listen.
But
It's
there's
great
programs and
advice,
stuff.
just not
There's
for me.
programs and stuff too, you can plug it in and get, like, AI feedback and stuff too. Not the ChatGPTs, they just take the words, they're not any good, but if you go to, like, Feedback Academy and those places, like, you can toss it in there and it'll give you, like it'll watch your video and give you feedback if you wanna go that route. But there's definitely programs and
Interesting,
things that will, help you out.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, that is all of my questions, and I think we are probably hitting around time. So if anybody
Awesome.
wanted to learn more about referral marketing, learn more about you and what you're doing, where can they find you?
Probably the website's the easiest because it has all the links and all the different things you can hop into and check out, and that's www.livelocalwarmmarketing.com. Did I have to do the www part? I think that's pretty much that seemed, like, pretty redundant, though. Just w live
I
local
also
warm
am pretty sure
marketing.
you only did 2 Ws, so you might wanna add in that 3rd one,
3rd one,
so that
try
it
2,
goes
see
through.
what happens. See if the 2
Yeah.
works. I don't know, maybe it'll be a magical passcode, you know? Maybe you'll just open up a new
Ooh.
internet somewhere that you didn't know about. Yeah.
Ooh,
But it's
that's gonna be
live
the
local
AI's
warm
thing.
marketing. There you'll find
Live
it. It'll
local
be there.
warm marketing, and I will also
.com.
have that in the show notes.
Cool.
Don't forget the
Thank you.
.com.
Yeah, that
You got
.com,
you
yeah,
gotta have the all
I
3
just
W's,
all 3 days.
the HTTPS colon slash
Do you gotta put
slash.
that in? Oh, yeah, I've gotten to the point now, like, where Google just finishes your sentences for you, so I don't even, like, do the stuff anymore, like, it seems we're getting so lazy. You don't have to put all the things in there anymore.
I get mad when I have to fill out a form and it says, "Put in your website," and I do, and they're like, "No, you need the HTTPS to said
Yeah.
bit all
You know,
why?"
I'll open up the website, I'll copy and paste it. I won't actually put
Same,
the HTTP I won't do
same.
it. I'll just copy and paste, and I'm like, "God, I am so lazy," but here we go.
I always feel like I'm gonna make it wrong. I'm gonna
Yeah.
forget a T or a backslash, or I'll put a forward slash instead. I don't know.
2
I don't know the
W's instead of 3.
difference. That's my most common.
Yeah.
It's so you know what? I already hit W
Uh,
twice. Do I really have to hit it a third time?
it knows where I'm going. It gets it. Like, I'm pretty sure it knows.
Fill in the blank. Context clues. I want a website. Anyway,
Awesome. Awesome, awesome.
thank you so much, Billy, for being here. And thank you all for listening. If you want to hear more about how you can get booked on stages or use your stages to grow your business, come back next week for another My First Stage story. And I'll talk to you then.
Thanks for having me on.